Hello and welcome to the Prosperous Musician, and today it is Music Business Roundup, also known as Music Hack. So, my name's Spence and this is the Music Hack Roundup. And why am I wearing sunglasses? Well, I'm actually in a very warm place at the moment. It's very bright and sunny. And these are my sunglasses that are kind of prescription sunglasses as well, so it just saves me changing glasses on and off. As you can see behind me, it's quite bright. I won't do it too much because it just backlights, you won't be able to see anything. Anyway, this is a day later than expected. It is the 29th of Jan, and here we go with the music business news hack. So we got Universal Music has their initial public offering, or IPO, is coming at early 2022 at the latest. So Tencent completes acquisition of further 10% stake in UMG. So a Tencent-led consortium has completed its acquisition of an additional 10% in Universal Music Group. Both Tencent and UMG parent Vivendi announced this morning. As previously announced, the Tencent consortium has acquired the shares in UMG for $3 billion based on a $30 billion enterprise valuation of the music company. So, as it says, they're making a conglomerate, I guess, sort of they're teaming up and they're buying in. So early 2022, so it's going to create more sort of changes in the music industry as more, as they get more of a stake in that company. As it says, it takes the consortium's holding in UMG from 10 to 20%. And reduces UMG parents Vivendi's ownership stake in the music firm to 80%. So Vivendi currently owning it, but Tencent are buying a bigger stake in that. So watch this space for that. And more news about Primary Wave. Now, Primary Wave, one of the biggest publishers out there, they're joining in with what seems to be the big trend at the moment of cashing in, buying in to big catalogues here. And this week another deal is struck with they buy legendary Sun Records in a £30 million deal, £30 million deal, including the masters for artists like Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis. So described as Primary Wave as a multi-million deal, the transaction encompasses master recordings for legendary artists including Johnny Cash, as we said, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, Roy Orbison, the Dixie Cups, and many, many more. The New York Times reports the deal is estimated about $30 million. The buyout includes all of the music publishing owned by Sun, as well as the iconic Sun Records logo and all of the trademarks owned by Sun, including that of Nashville Sun Diner. John Singleton, president of Sun Records, will remain at the label, and Primary Wave says he will now have additional resources provided by the company under the terms of the deal. So Sun is sold out, basically, and Primary Wave have taken over, but they've kept on the president as an advisor by the sounds of it. So here we go. Other news coming up. DistroKid launches a matchmaking service. This is really interesting news, and I think there's going to be a lot of other distributors following suit to help labels find unsigned artists. Republic Records is named as their first partner, the first of many, I'd imagine. So DistroKid has a good claim to be the biggest music distributor in the world. It distributes approximately a third of all new music released around the globe, so that of more than 2 million artists rely on the platform. So now the company is opening up a new line of business, enabling major and indie record labels to mine its data and getting paid a finder's fee for each time one of these labels signs a DistroKid artist. According to DistroKid founder and CEO Philip Kaplan, this new service upstream meets a need for both artists and labels. Now, I think this is a great move by DistroKid, and it's quite frankly, it's something that I'm really surprised hasn't already happened. Because think about it, they're the perfect conduit, if you like. So up to 2 million people uploading their unsigned artists, maybe uploading their music all the time, and when they get spotted, it's like DistroKid, even though they're hosting them and they're actually helping them become visible and helping them get their music out there, they're not actually taking a cut of that. They're not getting any action off that. So they're going, hold on a minute, they own, they represent 2 million artists. Now, a percentage of those every year are going to be getting deals, right? They're going to be getting spotted. They're going to be signing deals with record labels. So they want to cut to that action. So that's a great way of an exchange, because the record label then gets access to all of that data, everything that artist has done, everything they've released, all the sales, the areas that they're big, all their information is there for them to see. So that puts the record label buying into them in a great position, because they've got all that data, which normally they would have to spend a lot of money on finding or even creating that data themselves. So it's a great way. And this is how it is in the new age, isn't it? In the old days, oil and energy was the great commodity. Now it is information. The more info you have, the more power you have, and the more money you're in a stronger position to negotiate. Let's put it that way. So well done, DistroKid. And like I say, I think that domino is going to topple over, and a lot of other distributors are going to be joining in on that one. And number 4, this is another interesting one, talking about distributors, and although Spotify is more of a streaming service. So their latest invention, and again, this is something that I thought had already exists. It's definitely something that's probably been going on in development for a while, but now it's kind of like official, I guess. So as the Spotify's latest invention, it monitors your speech. Of course, obviously, voice-activated things aren't anything new, but this is going one step further. It's getting the information from your voice, recognizing the emotions in your voice, and suggesting music based on emotions. Now, that's powerful stuff. So remember when Spotify was granted a patent for personality tracking technology and how unsettling it was? Published in October 2020, the filing explained the behavioural variables, try saying that with a mouthful of jelly, such as users' mood, their favourite genre of music, or their demographic, could all prospectively correspond to different personality traits of a user. Spotify suggested that it could promote personalised content, presumably audio advertising content, but also perhaps music and podcast content to users based on their personality traits it detected in them. Now, according to the details published in News US Spotify patent, the company wants to use technology to get even deeper into its users' heads by using speech recognition to determine their emotional state, gender, age or accent, attributes that can then be used to recommend content. Now, again, see the pattern here. Why is Spotify doing this? Well, why do they need the user's information like that? Why do they need their emotional state? Well, think about it. We all buy on emotion. We might think about the price with logic, but we buy, the impulse to buy, the urge to buy, the decision to open the wallet or put your credit card out, or your, whatever payment you're doing, the decision to buy is all here emotional. You might afterwards think, oh, I shouldn't have spent that much, or oh, I found it cheaper over there. You might logically rationalise the price, but the decision is made emotionally. So that information is going to be very powerful if Spotify get it, because obviously they've got a patent on the thing at the moment. So if they got that as well, that information as well. So not only are you talking, Alexa play this, Alexa play that, it's recognising in your voice, the tone of your voice, who you are, your personality, and the emotion at that time. It's recognising that, and of course there's going to be patterns to that. So it's going to say, oh, he's particularly happy at this time, or he seems to be particularly choosing comfort things there. Maybe he's a bit sad at this point. So then they're going to suggest more and more stuff, putting playlists together, giving you things based on your emotions. And why is that? So it's giving you more that you want, more than you even ask for, because it's non-verbal leakage, isn't it? All this stuff. You're not saying, oh, I'm feeling happy today, so I'm going to do this. It's just picking it up off the tone of your voice. So potentially, again, this kind of stuff surprised me, actually. I thought all this stuff was already out there, to be honest. But, it sounds like Spotify are kind of leading the way with that. But I think this kind of stuff is going to be very popular, and almost the norm in a couple of years' time, but maybe even less. It's going to be normal to not only picking up the speech, but picking up the emotions in it. And finally, BTS label Big Hits, of course the K-pop artist there, is buying a 63 million stake in rival K-pop company YG. Now, we know K-pop is huge. A Big Hit Entertainment, the K-pop powerhouse behind BTS, has revealed its intention to invest 70 billion won, which is approximately $63 million, in rival K-pop company YG Entertainment. So Seoul-based YG Entertainment, founded by Yang Hyun-suk in 1996, has worked with K-pop superstars like Blackpink, Big Bang, 2NE1 and Psy. Yang Hyun-suk left the company in 2019. In 2018, Universal Music Group and Interscope announced a global deal to represent YG Entertainment's biggest artist girl band, Blackpink, outside of Asia. Big Hit is investing money into YG merch and distribution of affiliate YG Plus. So big money there in the K-pop thing, and they're buying a stake in another big company there. So trying to get a bit of a more of a market share, more of a monopoly going on there. So that's the big 5 stories of this week, ending in the what day is it? 29th, 30th of January, and of course, no Music Hack is complete without this day in music. Now, who was born this day in music? Well, you can't hurry, love. No, you've just got to wait. That's right. It was Phil Collins was born this day in 1951. As a member of Genesis, he had the 1986 US #1 Invisible Touch and the UK #7 hit I Can't Dance, plus 6 #1 albums as a solo artist. He had in 1988 he had UK and #1 with Groovy Kind of Love, plus US #1s and 4 UK #1s. Acting roles including Oliver, Buster and Miami Vice. Also worked with Brand X. So he was quite big for a while, wasn't he, Phil Collins? Remember him? Good drummer as well. His books, I can recommend his book as well. I forgot the title of it now, but if you look at Phil Collins' autobiography, it's a good read. Honest guy. Who else? So the Elvis Presley started recording what would be his first album at RCA's New York studios. Songs recorded include his version of the Carl Perkins song Blue Suede Shoes. Johnny Cash planted the seed for the song in the fall of 1955, while Perkins, Cash, Elvis Presley and the Louisiana Hayride acts toured throughout the South. Cash told Perkins of a black airman, C.V. White, whom he had met once serving in the military in Germany, who would refer to his military regulation airman shoes as blue suede shoes. So that's where it came from, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. The Beatles with Billy Preston played their lunchtime rooftop gig on top of the Apple building on Savile Row. You remember Apple? So the Apple was around in 1969, way before the PC there. That wasn't the Apple. So they were the head of the time, weren't they? Apple, calling themselves Apple Music, and Apple calling themselves Apple afterwards. Anyway, it was a 40-minute set. They played Get Back, Don't Let Me Down, Don't Get Back Too Far, You'll Fall Off the Roof. I've Got a Feeling, the one after 909, Dig a Pony. Traffic was brought to a standstill as crowds of people gathered below and watched from the windows in nearby buildings. John Lennon ended the performance by saying, "I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves, and I hope we pass the audition." Probably like that. And they all look so cool on that gig, don't they? They've all got the long hair flowing in the wind. McCartney looks ace with a beard and a suit. They just look awesome. And Ringo with his tash. Harrison, with all that kind of flowing hair. Lennon with his... Harrison with his fluffy coat on. They just look awesome. I think that was one of their best looks ever. And Paul McCartney in 1972 wrote and recorded his protest song Give Ireland Back to the Irish within 24 hours of Bloody Sunday, when 13 Catholics were killed by the British paratroopers. And I didn't know this. 1973, the year I was born, after recently changing the name from Wicked Leicester, terrible name, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley and Peter Criss, you got it, changed their name to Kiss, of course. Peter Criss, they could have been called Chris. Anyway, at the Popcorn Club in Queens, New York. So imagine if they hadn't have changed their name from what was it? Something. Let's say about my memories. Wicked Leicester. Imagine them still being called Wicked Leicester. They just wouldn't have got anywhere with a name like that. But Kiss, now you're talking. And and a bit more up-to-date news. 1990, you remember this? The year of sort of baggy music and Manchester and all that. Unhappy with the reissue of the band's early single Sally Cinnamon, the Stone Roses trashed their former record company Revolver FM's offices and threw paint over cars. The band were arrested and charged with criminal damage. Now, Revolver FM, where I used to live in Wolverhampton, the record label were based in Wolverhampton, and he dined out on that story for years, let me tell you, the owner of Revolver Records there. And finally, of course, David Bowie, this is after his death recently, in 2016, he left an estate valued at 100 million. Some of that went to, half went to his wife, his widow, and the rest was shared between his son and daughter. Bowie's personal assistant, Corinne Schwab, was left 2 million, and another 1 million went to a former nanny, Marion Skeels. So that's a bonus, isn't it? That is an absolute bonus, getting a massive payout there just for being Bowie's personal assistant. She must have been good. You must have been good. So here we go. I was on the 29th of Jan. Let's pick the year. Let's just go back 20 years ago. What was number one 20 years ago? I like to find this. It's going to be terrible because all the music in 2000 was terrible. Here we go. Told you. 20 years ago today, the number one was Rise by Gabrielle. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen Gabrielle live and she wasn't too bad, but, it's not the best song, is it? Notable for a rare authorised use of a Bob Dylan sample, it takes extensively from his 1973 song Knocking on Heaven's Door. Dylan liked Rise so much that he allowed Gabrielle to use the sample for free while receiving a co-writer credit for providing the song's chord progression and vocal sample. Now, I didn't know that. So, me saying it's terrible, but Dylan actually liked it, but maybe he just thought, well, it's going to be a hit, I'll have some of that. And across the pond in America, Savage Garden, I Knew I Loved You was number one. The band's second number one in the US after Truly Madly Deeply. It was the last song by an Australian artist to reach the Billboard 100, until Gautier peaked at number one with his single, Somebody That I Used to Know. Now, I didn't know that was an Australian artist. So there you go. It's that's it. That's a wrap for Music News Hack this week. My name's Spence. This is the Prosperous Musician. Stay safe, be creative, be prosperous, and I'll see you next week. Take care.